Guided by the cancellation of Zemuz's husband, Dude, and company headed to Zem's, where they died. Filing a complaint, their next generation returned to hiking, and avenged themselves to claim the Murasame, and fulfill the desire of the crystals as the adventure continues.
Oh no, a pimp!
No! No! The one cure used the other one by using pimping skills in order to make it attack.
They have the ultimate strategy!
See, it does pimp, and then it's telling the other one to do stuff, but the other one's like, nah, I don't know. I look exactly like you.
See, this is what happens when you try to team two pimps up together. Oh no! He pimped Dude!
Well, now we know what pimp is.
Yeah.
What is that? Stop? No, that's not stop. What is that? Well, now we know what pimp is. It's stop.
Yeah, it's stop.
I had to think about it because we have stop, and it's not called pimp.
It's their stop. They're too sexy to just use stop, so they use pimp.
I wanted to respond to that, but I could not think of anything. I'm like, I'll just let that one be.
For now.
For now, yeah. Then we find another one that I finally come up with an actual thing to say, and then it's like, well, we gotta put it in there.
Don't you just love when you don't think of a comeback until it's too late?
Yeah, that happens all the time.
It's called having a comeback.
Exactly. Speaking of having a comeback, have you ever had those situations where... Ooh, anchor. Well, that will stop somebody.
No, I think that just casts thunder. Just thunder.
What? I don't get that. But yeah, speaking of comeback, have you ever had those times where like you just went through an event, it didn't really quite go the way you wanted it to, or maybe like it like went fine, but you still feel like it could have gone different, and then like later on you're just kind of repeating that thought either in your head or out loud to yourself, like just like what happened, and then like just trying to think of like how it could have gone. Has it ever happened?
Yeah, I think so.
I wonder like other people just do that, or if it was like more of just a me thing. Because like I will like have something happen and then I'll just kind of repeat it in my head. Like if I got into an argument or with somebody, I would repeat like parts of the argument, and then I'll like try to be like, I probably should have said this, or like basically like if I got mad at somebody, I'll like say something that is like I should have said during the time or whatever. Isn't this riveting conversation for the final dungeon of Final Fantasy IV?
Well, what is there to say left?
What?
I mean, it does make sense because Kane's probably constantly doing this as well, because he gets like mind controlled every 2 seconds. He's like, man, I really shouldn't have been mind controlled at that point.
Remember that time when Golba's controlled my mind? Maybe I should have resisted a little bit harder.
Yeah, and then we find out that Golbez isn't actually a villain, and it's some like stupid person on the moon.
And then remember that time when I got mind controlled again? You'd think I would have learned after the first time.
It's just kind of weird that Golbez has that ability, quote unquote. I mean, I'm pretty sure that was Zemus actually doing that, like being able to do that for Golbez or whatever. But at the same time, I feel like Golbez has like more... What's the word I'm looking for? Like he probably knows more about his lineage than Cecil did, and probably was able to figure things out.
He's the guy who knows things. That's why he has to be the bad guy. If he was the main character, everything would have been spoiled right from the start.
I forget. When you... No, I won't bring that up now. I'll wait.
You know, you gotta wonder if there's one of the... Like, sometimes people will make videos of, like, what if this happened, or what if that happened? I feel like there's gotta be one of those out there somewhere where it's like, what if Cecil and Golbez had switched places?
I know I definitely seen one this morning, ironically enough, that kept popping up in my YouTube feed for some reason. What if Vegeta was sent to Earth instead? I'm like, well, Earth would have been screwed.
Yeah. It's like you do realize that at that point in the series, Vegeta was already like 10 years old or something. It was already killing people.
I feel like that video probably had in mind that Vegeta would be sent off to Earth and have the same circumstances happen. Like, he bonks his head sort of deal. which, by the way, is never a plot contrivance at all, which I'm kind of surprised at. You would think at some point in the series, Goku would bonk his head again and be all evil, and then people have to bonk his head in order to fix him.
That would have been much more interesting than what they actually did with Goku Black. Like, something happened to Goku, so he, like, reverted back to his original Saiyan personality.
It's, like, completely outlined in the beginning that this is what completely changed the character. So you're thinking to yourself, like, man, when will they ever bring this up again? Nope.
Can't have that happen.
Goku's just doofus now. I noticed you're curing, so you only have to go to one pot.
Yeah, I would have done that the first time, but I couldn't remember which was which.
This is not a pot. Why did I call it a pot?
It's sometimes a pot.
I'm used to it being a pot. We're leaving, so I guess we can save and then back into the lunar subterrane, or whatever they called it in this translation.
You know what I always found weird in a lot of these games? It was just a weird graphical thing that always stood out to me, especially when walking in forests. How when you're going left and right, your sprite bobs up and down, but it doesn't when you're going up and down.
Huh. Like, I'm trying to think of, like, an actual explanation for that, but there isn't really a movement to the hair. Like, if there was, it would be like, okay, this makes sense. But the fact that it's just kind of the legs going boop, 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 boop.
Because the Final Fantasy games in particular, I know have been doing that ever since the very first one on the NES. And I think all the 2D Final Fantasies are like that, where there's no bobbing when going up and down, but then when you're going left and right, your character's sprite is bobbing a bit.
I don't know why that is. Also, dude has 3,000 HP. I don't know how long that's been a thing, but it's nice.
I think he just got it his last level up whenever that happened. It might have even happened while we were leaving the second time.
I think somebody's probably done a ROM hack of this, so it kind of does stem into the conversation about, like, switching characters or whatever. But how weird would it be if Gobez was the main character and Cecil was basically in Gobez's place?
There might be a ROM of that somewhere.
Probably. It's just like, I wonder, like, how that would have affected things, if at all, because at the same time, they probably would have, that was going to be completely stupid of me to say. It's like, oh, they probably would have just completely changed how he looked, made him look nicer or whatever, made Cecil look more evil, and then just call Gobez Cecil, and then Cecil Gobez. I'm like, then we'd be back at square one.
Yeah, it's like, what's the point?
What's the point? Nothing happened. I like that when you stop in these rooms and you're facing sideways, you look like an NES sprite. That is why Firebutt was on.
And that is what now?
Firebutt is a whip.
Okay, there's innuendo somewhere of a whip be called Firebutt.
There would be even more innuendos if you level up one time and she gets one attack power. I do find it kind of neat that these rooms, like in the hallways, that had the dithering effect when you're walking through them, where it's just like the black dot, no black dot, black dot, no black dot. Ooh, we just got a dragon, which is a shield. Which means if we had that when we fought the white dragon, we would have taken so much less damage. Has less magic defense, but if it would attack us, it would be so much less.
But isn't Freshwad the Aegis shield?
Yes.
So it might have elemental resistances as well.
Still think it's kind of better-ish. Birth A.
Birthday what? Oh no, paths.
And we don't have flashing screens to tell us if there's hidden walls or not.
We also don't have easy type to tell us which walls are what.
Yeah, going back to the dithering effect on the hidden walls, on a CRT TV, that would just look darker. It wouldn't like have the dithering effect just because of how scanlines are. And it's funny like looking at it now and just being like, man, this is why PlayStation games always look like weird when it's in 3D on an emulator and things like that, because you just don't have the scanlines anymore. Because dithering gets masked by it. Why do you always attempt to use magic on these things?
Because I see Quamp and I use Bio. That's my hardwired response to seeing Quamp's turn.
Green hair, green attack!
Now I could just use Bahamut, but that might be overkill.
Yeah. And saving MP and stuff would be kind of a better thingy to do.
Yes, we never know when we will run into dangerous things. Like this
Like a
guy.
behemoth.
But not this guy.
The guy that's in front of the guy is more dangerous than the guy. I received a dumpling.
Ah! I may be dying, but joke's on you. I have the dumpling.
I also may be dying, but now my face actually matches my hair.
That's not a good thing.
I look like a flame spirit with a tiara now.
I have become so fabulous. I have become oh so fabulous. I have become Zarbon.
Oh, no. Let's not even go there.
I can only swallow so much.
I'm better!
I'm healed. And Quamp learned Quake.
Yay.
Now, to check Quamp's attack power. Womp, womp, womp. Hello, Sir Treasure.
That is why Dragon was on.
I wonder who we're getting stuff for.
How did you know it was a helmet?
Because helmets was first on the list. So that's what I clicked.
Judging by the layout, it could possibly be that.
Ooh, dragon urn. He just took a couple urns with dragons painted on them and put them over his hands.
And now if he fights a dragon, he will barely take any damage whatsoever unless it's magic.
As he jumps away so he won't be attacked anyway.
And meanwhile, Ima's just sitting there being like, man, I look like how Cecil did earlier. Am I a Lunarian now?
I have ascended to the race of my friend. I don't know where I was going with that.
I don't know where you're going with that either. Lover, because they clearly are like, yeah, it's
kind of canon. I think we're still kind of unsure about most things. We're at the end of the game. I still don't think we really know what's going on.
in this version anyway. You know what would be so weird? I know it's not going to happen, but imagine if they did after years.
Like this?
Yeah, you know why that would be hilarious? Because they're kind of separated stories-ish. I mean, they kind of are. They kind of have that connection at the end. But could you just imagine having separate, like, mini campaigns, and they all are very vastly different translated stories?
And then they come together for no particular reason.
You know what I love about these sprites? They remind me of how people depicted T-Rexes back then, like the little teeny hands. It's like maybe that's why they're pimps, because they're so tiny that they had to get really close in order to go psh, just kind of smack you.
Maybe.
That's why they get stopped, because you're just super stunned that they were able to actually slap you.
This is getting mildly annoying.
I know. I was about to say, this is turning soft really quick. At least the game's being generous and making people get out of stop.
Yeah, it just takes a while.
It's not like the weird battles that they have in Final Fantasy where everybody gets that status and is like, oh, you can't do anything now, game over. Thankfully enough, Mystic Quest doesn't have that, because if Mystic Quest had that, that'd be annoying, because you only have like 2 party members at any given time. So it's like, oh, both of your party members got petrified, game over.
Oh no, now you'd have to suffer the consequences of saying no to the give up option and then just redo the fight with no consequences.
I know.
I get they wanted to make the game easy, but could they have at least given it a game over? Even Pokemon game over is harder than Mystic Quest.
Well, Mystic Quest is a baby RPG for babies, and it's still a good game. Fight me.
Yeah. It's good for what it tries to do. And it has neat dungeons.
It also has really expressive character sprites. Whenever the main character is all confused, he's just like, hey!
Hey! And he's obviously the strongest hero in the history of Final Fantasy, because at the very start of the game at level 1, he beats the shit out of a behemoth like it's nothing.
I know.
Think that's a bow? Yeah, oh no, it's arrows. We're running out of space.
Yeah, you are.
I just want to Cyrez this guy, and she's gonna go all Mystic Quest on him by walking up to him with her magic and be like, hey, shut up, you face! And then he stops casting magic.
I still love that they actually like acknowledge Mystic Quest in a lot of the Final Fantasy games and stuff.
I believe I heard it was in Theatrhythm or whatever it's called.
Yeah, Theater Rhythm. Curtain Call, I believe, is the one. Like, he's in the game, and they have Which tracks do they have? I think it's the battle theme and then the boss theme, I think. Which you can imagine trying to be rhythm to those games. But he's also in All-Star Carnival as well. Also, if I remember properly, in the original Dissidia, one of the Moogles is named Benjamin and wants pretty much to do the exact same thing like Stiltskin does. I saw a lone chest in the room. I'm like, I don't know about that. But you opened it up and everything was okay. It was more than okay as well because you got an elixir.
Yeah.
Which she will never use.
Never use.
I'm a little bit more lenient with using them in these kind of games, though. Like, I try to save them for the end because of just how valuable they are. But there are times where I might have like a really bad boss fight and everybody just took a lot of damage. So I basically use like the full party heal item. Nowadays, I don't really need to do that as much because I kind of know more the ins and outs of these games.
Hey, don't suck like a 10-year-old trying to play this.
Or a youngin' trying to play Final Fantasy VII and just figure out how the heck the materia system worked.
Instead, you have to deal with something far, far worse and more crippling than being a young child playing a video game. Being a Let's Player playing a video game. It's a far worse performance. You're much better off being 8 years old than trying to Let's Play.
Well, what if you were an 8-year-old Let's Player?
Well, then you're just fucked.
Would the game ever turn on?
I don't know if you'd get that far.
Hey guys, I'm playing Final Fantasy IV today, and this is our main character Cecil, and he's kind of not good. He's like dark and evil.
You know what would happen? The kid would be trying to do a Let's Play of an NES game, and he wouldn't even be able to figure out how to get the thing working because it's dirty.
No, the thing that came to mind more was loading up the game on like a TV and tapping the screen in order to select actions.
Or he tries turning on the NES or the Super Nintendo before putting the game in to try and get to the startup menu.
I remember my little brother, I showed him like the games from back then, like Game Boy Advance and things like that. Like he actually had a Game Boy Advance and he would play some games. But when we first showed him that kind of thing, he was trying to touch the screen in order to play it. And I'm like, yes, learn what we went through.
You want to know how to really make a kid nowadays to learn what we went through? Have them go on a road trip in the middle of the night with nothing to entertain themselves but an ordinary Game Boy.
Or how I had it. I had the, I had the Game Boy Color, and I had the little thing that you plug into the link port, and it had like the little squiggly like wire, like the bendy wire, and it had like a little lamp light on it.
I had a friend who had one of those.
Yeah, I had like 3 of them. I don't know why I had like 3 of them, but I only ever really had like one at a time. And that was pretty much how I played those things in the dark way back when, and it was great. Nowadays, playing on an emulator, I'm like, I see colors and everything.
And everything's black and white instead of black and green.
I never actually had the original Game Boy. I mean, I played the original Game Boy, like my cousin and stuff had it. So I technically had it still because I would just like pick it up and just play it. But the first one I got was the Game Boy Pocket. It was either a red or blue one. Or I might have had both for some reason. And then I got the Game Boy Color, the purple one. And then my older brother got the Pikachu Game Boy Color. And then around this point is when I finally moved to where I am now, but we were like in a different area. And then one of my friends borrowed that Game Boy Color and we went to the park one day. And in order to hide it so nobody would steal it, he buried it in the sand.
Okay.
We found it and it no longer worked. Knowing what I know now though, I guarantee it was a simple fix.
But back then, there was no hope.
Yeah, none whatsoever. It just didn't work anymore. It was the Pikachu one too, so yeah, he had every right to be mad at him after that. But then the Game Boy Advances became a thing, and we got that big rectangular brick.
And they got the SP, and it felt weird to hold. But at least it had light.
It had light. At least the first generations ones did, but the light on it was awful. Like it literally was just a normal screen with a light that kind of turned on around the sides in order to see it.
Yeah.
And then like the second versions of it had it to where it would like the screen itself would actually be backlit, and it was so much better. Then the DSs came out, and then the DSs had horrible backlights for some reason. The original ones, anyway. Then the DS Lite came out. I was like, man, stuff is happening. We are running out of space.
Correction, we are out of space.
Can you combine any of the high potions?
Maybe. We have a space.
A singular space.
Excellent. Progress. Progress in the carrying of treasures. Treasure.
But first battle against the Zalzums.
Salsa zombie.
I feel like being a fire zombie is counterintuitive because you would just be on fire and then just melt.
Well, what are you gonna do? Zombies be weird sometimes.
Or just the concepts of zombies in general.
That too.
Because, yeah, it's like, oh, they're so cool.
No, they're not.
Because I'm saying, like, in terms of, like, what storylines you can make and things with that.
No.
Like how Resident Evil became a thing.
Yeah, but that doesn't make them cool.
Then you sit there and really think about it, and you're like, if zombies actually happened and it's basically rotting corpses coming back to life, they would not be able to move the way they do. They would just probably be laying on the ground going,
They'd probably just collapse under their own weight.
Exactly. Like, it would be the most disappointing apocalypse ever.
All the nerds would run out there with their nailed baseball bats and shit ready to take on some zombies, and then all the zombies are just, like, dragging themselves through the street like,
They wouldn't even be dragging. They wouldn't even have, like, the arm strength to do that.
Okay, they'd be rolling down hills.
Like, their muscles and... Like, I can understand, like, a freshly dead person. Might be possible, but... Past that, no.
That wouldn't be the majority of them.
Even then, a freshly dead person, I feel like if you reanimate them, they probably wouldn't know how to use their limbs properly, so they would probably still be shambling on the ground.
Someone should do, like, Zombie Apocalypse, Real Edition. And the whole movie is just 5 minutes of the zombies rising up, and then they just roll down a hill, all pile up at the bottom of the hill, and then they're just stuck there.
And then someone just sets them on fire and calls it a day. That is why there's so many.
So many what?
It's okay. It's not boss music this time. I'm glad you cast Blink on Dude, because for a second there I thought I was going to be active on Kane. And I'm like, that would have been stupid. Because he's like, Blink! Jump. We need Benjamin, and we need him now.
He just bitch slapped this thing, and that would be it.
And then he would just look at the group and go, hey!
Hey, what's the matter with you? Why are you all so sucky? And then Edge would flip him off.
He'll attempt to cast magic. If he actually dies, he would just click try again and be back to life. And we'd be like, how did he do that?
How is he so powerful? And then Zeromus mind controls him and we just lose.
Would he even be able to do that? Because he can't be, there's not many status effects in Mystic Quest. So I don't think he'd be able to have the mind controlled status effects. Wishfully.
What is wishfully?
I thought it was a spear. It's a not spear. It's a rod.
That sucks.
That's probably more for Ima.
Well, she doesn't use rods, she used staves. It boosted her exhaustion by 20, which is probably magic power. Let's do it, I've never used that weapon before.
Because you don't even know what it is! Wishfully, wishfully.
I'm not sure if looking it up by that name will net you very many results.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to think. There we go. I was just trying to like, what does this thing look like? Oh, I know what that is. It's a Stardust Rod.
Okay.
It casts Comet when you use it as an item.
That might be better than attacking.
Probably, yeah.
Accompanying P5.
And we have another battle, it looks like, but we can't quite get there. Unless you could walk around from the butt of the stairs. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Red Dragon and Blue Durgan.
This could be painful. Quick, punch them.
It's okay, they're bashing their heads on the ground. I think we'll be okay.
I like how that hit one person.
I was literally about to say that. Looked like it should have hit everybody.
It just missed everybody except Dude. That was productive, sort of.
Mega Floor.
Eat Mega Floor. Our Durgan is better than your Durgans. Significantly so.
You did damage cap to the red one and not quite there for the blue one. The only reason the blue one had slightly better defenses is because it went on to become another video game.
Yeah, let's go with that.
How is it still alive? There we go. That's better. That was a lot.
Crystal!
Well, that should be obvious what it is. When are you going to use the anchor? That works too, I guess. It's so funny that we avoided, or you avoided using the fat chocobo like all game, and now you're sitting there like, I have no space.
Well, that's because we're suddenly getting stuff.
It's the final dungeon. We need to suddenly have the stuff that we can get.
And we need to suddenly be getting a bunch of money that we no longer need. Also, there's all these high potions I bought.
How much money do you got right now? You could buy like 5 elixirs, but that requires leaving the dungeon, of course. And yeah. Ring Mimi. Ring Mimi. I would imagine that's the protect ring?
I don't know. Can anybody else use it? Other people can use it.
Probably means it's the protect ring.
Healer, defense boost, go!
Defense boost against all the elements and more stamina. It's not like the protect ring in the original Final Fantasy. Speaking of the protect ring, you know what's actually funny on it? If you hack in Dark Cecil, you can't equip it.
Okay. That's a good...
That's really funny though, because it's like, why? You programmed it so everybody can equip it, but for some reason...
They deliberately made it so he can't.
Unless they made it so that like they could just give him exactly what he could equip, and then everything else is just listed as no. Because maybe the default state is no, and they had to toggle it to yes. But you would think that the protect ring, when they made it, to be just be like all yes.
Yeah, but what are you gonna do?
Have this thing die?
It's getting there.
You know what's also getting there? Quamp almost has 2,000 HP.
Yeah, but judging by her level ups, I wouldn't call 300 almost.
Depends. We are getting closer to the end of the game, so... I mean, in terms of leveling, I mean. So, the HP gains are a little bit more. That was terrible. Oh, no.
Oh no.
Ooh. These things are weaker to Bahamut because they did 9999.
Excellent. This is one of those situations where you have that initial joke, oh no, but then immediately afterwards you're like, oh no. Wow, that was a big damage difference.
I know. That was exactly the same amount of damage. You have discarded wait mode on the ATB.
That's okay. We don't need wait mode where we are going.
I love that the sprite makes it look like it's just kind of like laying on the ground sleeping.
It's just very bored with us.
Yeah, it's like, just kill me already. You already killed like 10 of my brethren.
We just don't give a shit anymore.
My life sucks, man.
Do you have any idea what it's like to be the same color as everything around you?
No one sees me.
So hard to be the life of a party when no one even knows you're there.
I like how this battle is just like so inconsequential. That point has 74 HP. We're just like, eh.
Whatever.
Wow. Bump level higher. Break 1 remembered, even though it's just break. That was why Whitey Tidies was on. The only thing this could possibly be is the white robe.
Watch it be the black robe.
That would be hilarious. You know what thing I haven't seen like all game? Has anyone ever been blinded?
I don't think so.
Because that's a status effect in this game.
One would assume.
If it was Final Fantasy VI, though, we wouldn't have to worry. Oh, I got blinded. But what it truly means is I'm just now wearing the sunglasses. That's Final Fantasy VI. This one you get blinded is like, oh no, I miss every 2 seconds. Oh no. More dragons?
Nope. More of this things.
So this dungeon is literally just you going and getting better equipment for the final battle.
Yeah, while reaching the final battle.
I really don't kind of like that design. It's like they should make the final dungeon challenging by having like roadblocks, like maybe mini bosses of some sort, not just you gathering better equipment in order to fight final boss.
Well, the mini bosses come in the form of what's protecting all the good weapons.
But there's stuff that is like you encounter in the normal battles as well, so it's like, what's the point?
Well, for the treasure chests, not for the actual weapons, like the main weapons you're after.
Well, yeah, but there isn't really too many of those. I forgot this was a chest, so I was like, oh yeah, actually good stuff.
That's how little the battles matter when you forget it's a treasure chest battle.
And I was like, wow, we actually got good equipment for it. Never mind.
It is good for you, okay?
Okay. Why did it cast Libra on itself?
That's what he does.
You got something.
Why is Asper such a shit?
Because it is. Coming by. No floor name because we're just so far down now.
More arrows.
Samurai.
Uh-oh.
Why is the Doom text green? It's like it's gonna heal you. Also, Doom never made sense to me in an RPG. He's just like, oh, you got Doom cast on you, but if you beat the battle, you're fine.
Yeah, of course. It makes perfect sense.
What happens if you do jump, Kane?
No, my money!
It's a lot of money. Ooh,
Fuck you, game.
They did that on purpose.
That couldn't have been an accidental experience point gain.
Oh, just kill me already.
I give such little shit about this battle, I'm not even gonna look at you while we fight. I'm just gonna stare at the ground, sighing my icy breath that might kill you instead. If you die, I'm sorry.
Have you ever looked inside this crystal, man? It's really dope. It's like all the light refractions everywhere, just spreading. I see rainbows, man. It's weird. Don't you just want to lie down and look at all this?
Dude, have you ever wondered what it does to, like, your brain when you live in a place that's just all crystals, man?
Have you ever had a dream that you could do anything?
Dude, me too.
I forgot a couple words to that, but it's still funny.
I think this leads to a thing I don't want to deal with yet.
Yeah, I think the save point's in that room on the other staircase.
Even if we do run into one of the enemy chests, I feel like I'd rather save before dealing with any more bosses. Good job.
Oh, good. I would have laughed if it changed it to 5. I would have been like, what? I'm glad that's not a thing, because that would be annoying. He's like, oh, it's at 2. I could last 2 seconds, maybe get one more attack. And cast Doom and changes to 1. You're like, no!
No! That's one stack of high potions.
I was going to say, you finally have an open spot. You use a ton of high potions. That's why there's so many. Also, your money is ridiculous right now. You could buy 10 elixirs. And then Cecil became the king of Baron because he had so much money. And no one questioned it whatsoever. Not a single person questioned the fact that the king is just dead now. And Cecil, who quote-unquote betrayed the king, is just suddenly king now.
It makes perfect sense when you don't think about it. Just like everything. You can make anything make sense to an idiot.
That is an understatement of a century. Ooh. Oh yeah, treasure chest.
Ooh, kind of.
That defense bonus is way too good. Magic debuff slightly, but still think it's way better trade-off and not.
And since it's end game equipment, it probably has some sort of additional attributes that the game isn't telling us.
Yeah, you get plus 15 strength, agility, and stamina. And you also get resistance to paralyze.
Save point. One of these is save point. One of them is death.
I mean, you'll find out.
Yeah, I just wanted to make it sound more ominous than it actually is.
It's not like you'll die the moment you walk into the room, so the game kind of at least is good about that.
That would piss me off, but at the same time, it would be hilarious.
I hate when RPGs do that. When you go into a room and you think like you might be safe or whatever, like you just want to check out the room or whatever.
And then some bullshit triggers.
Yeah, you just accidentally stumbled into story progression. You fight a boss, and it's been hours since you last saved or something like that.
This is the good room.
You can save a couple of tents and cottages.
We're not saving any cottages, we are using them. We have 43 cottages for running around, getting treasures, and grinding. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed what you saw, be sure to do all the YouTube things. And if you want to see more Google Translated madness, then be sure to go check out Azure Brian's channel where he and I played through Super Mario RPG Google Translated. See you next time!